What if I told you I rewatched The Matrix in theaters? Does anyone actually remember that meme? I have no idea. Anyways, I did check out The Matrix again. It's the 20th anniversary. Yes, it is. And generally, I don't go to the movies all that much, but there was a screening going on. I was excited to go. Because The Matrix is one a lot of people have analyzed, and I only saw it for the first time long after it came out. So maybe 10, 15 years after it came out, I saw it for the first time. And I found it a legitimately good film. When I watched it again, I thought this even the first time I saw it, but Codename Kids Next Door was very clearly inspired from The Matrix, and that made me happy. I got to think about Kids Next Door again. And like, I'm going to show you my action figures just because I want to shout out to Kids Next Door. I'm going to talk about The Matrix, I swear, but yeah. And of course. Yay. Yeah, particularly the aesthetic and the world, that was something Kids Next Door used a lot of, which makes me very happy. Generally speaking, I do prefer television to movies. Separate thought. I'm gonna talk about The Matrix, I swear. But in general, I have a tougher time getting into film franchises because if I like characters, I want to spend more time with them in a way where it's planned for you to spend more time with them. I do prefer television over film because I like seeing characters interact off each other in new, different ways. The Matrix is still a very, very good film. It's one that a lot of people have analyzed. It's one that blew a lot of people's minds when it came out. I remember people talking about it a lot, even if I didn't understand it. And it's cool to see some of the 90s elements in there, but it's also cool to see how this world works and what people take from it. I've been seeing a lot more analyses lately, especially in the light of the Wachowskis coming out as trans women, that a lot of people have seen a transgender narrative in it. And considering this perspective, I definitely see where people are coming from. That's not what I took away from it. I saw it as a very general be-yourself story. And a couple things I took away from it, I thought it could apply to both identity and what you want to do with your life. Since another way I was looking at it was applying to jobs and being in a dead-end job versus pursuing a job that you know is riskier but is going to be more fulfilling. Decisions adults have to make. The line's like, oh, there's two paths. You know where that road ends, but that's not where you want to be. And one of these lives is a future, the other does not. I thought, yeah, I could see that applying to what you want to do with your life or how you express yourself. Ultimately, I see The Matrix as a be-yourself story. One that's told in a very unique, interesting way. And considering the perspective it comes from, it's a very unique perspective, one that we don't see a ton of. I love the look of it. I love the trench coats and the leather, the sunglasses. Those were really, really cool. I love, even though it definitely doesn't blend into society, it looks cool. I love the effects. The effects still look so good. I was blown away. Even now, even 20 years later, they still look great. They hold up. I think my favorites are, I like the mirror effect when Neo is essentially consumed by this mirror when he's figuring out the Matrix. And of course, the ending battle with Agent Smith and the way the movement is captured, the shots, the bullets. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's been parodied to death. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, but it looks cool. The final fight sequence is amazing. I have not seen any of the sequels. I have not heard good things. I don't know if they do anything to the canon, but in my mind, this is... So in my mind, because I haven't seen the sequels, this is all I'm looking at. They're really cool. With the be yourself metaphor, I definitely saw Agent Smith as somebody who was also constrained by this. Someone who took the safe path, you know, a good villain essentially, is just as important as a good hero. Agent Smith seems like the kind of person who took the safe path and absolutely hates it. He even admits to Neo, I hate it here. But he's ultimately still going to be on the side of the corrupt system. He's still not going to be true to himself. Whereas Neo absolutely embraces who he is. He's going to embrace the truth, the reality, and do something about it. Take the riskier path, but ultimately find a more fulfilling life. Which is great. I found that very interesting. I liked that. Even if they do a lot of talking, but you can grasp it really quickly. The action's great. I will say, though, Neo and Trinity, that's the one thing I can get past it here, but they do not have chemistry. Even after the love confession, it doesn't make a ton of sense. I think an honest trailer said, oh, Trinity, the love of his life, and Morpheus is the other love of his life. He had way more chemistry with Morpheus than he did her. But even then, bromance. I definitely saw that one as a mentor bromance. But she's still cool, you know. I did like the team. I did like that world. It was very interesting, even though it's very 90s, early 2000s, turn of the millennium. It is, considering how the digital world has evolved, a lot of it is still relevant. The Matrix is a really fun film because you can just see it as a really simple, straightforward action film, or you can analyze a ton of philosophy out of it, and both are valid. All of it's valid. The Matrix is really excellent art because you can take so many different perspectives away from it. It can appeal to so many different people's experience, and it's still its own thing. It's still its own point of view. But it means something different to a lot of people, and that is really cool. I'm gonna wear the sunglasses again. I feel awesome.